All right, welcome to another deep dive. You know how this works, right? You send us something you want to understand better, and we unpack it together. Today, well, let's be honest, it's something I think we all struggle with.
Yeah, definitely universal challenge. We're talking about laziness, or maybe more specifically, how to beat it and become more productive. Our listener sent in this ebook.
The Tolly at Premium Books, The Art of Laziness, Overcome Procrastination, Improve.pdf, to be exact.
Sketchy title.
Right. So we've been going through it, and I gotta say, it's well structured.
Yeah, the author breaks it down into two main parts. First, focusing on mindset. That's key, right? Got to get your head in the game.
Absolutely. And then part two dives into actual tips and techniques. But what really hit me was this core message that runs throughout the whole thing. It's that life is short, you know? And all that time we waste, well, it can lead to some serious regrets later on.
Oh, totally. The author even lists some of those potential regrets, like not going after your passions, being lazy, not spending enough time with family, neglecting your health, working hard but at the wrong things, not traveling when you're younger, just not enjoying life enough. Pretty heavy stuff when you really think about it.
It's a wake-up call for sure. But look, that's why we're doing this deep dive, right? To extract the most valuable insights, the aha moments from this ebook, and equip you with actionable strategies to overcome that laziness. So, ready to tackle part one, the mindset stuff.
Let's do it. The author kicks things off with this principle of taking 100% responsibility, total ownership of your life, your actions. They even quote Churchill, "The price of greatness is responsibility." It's a powerful idea because it challenges us to stop blaming external factors and realize that real change comes from looking inward.
Yeah, I catch myself doing that sometimes. I don't have time to learn that new skill, or I'm too tired to work on that project, but blaming my schedule or my energy levels doesn't actually solve anything. And you know what? The author really lays it out there. If you're lazy, unhappy, procrastinating, well, those are patterns you have the power to change.
Exactly. And that's where the link between responsibility and action comes in. It's not enough to just acknowledge your role. You have to actually do something about it.
Yeah.
There's this Chinese proverb that really stuck with me. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. For you, listening, wanting to gain knowledge and boost your productivity, it's a reminder that now is the time to act.
No more excuses. All right, the next big idea is the comfort zone as the enemy. Man, this one resonated with me. It's not just about avoiding discomfort, it's about realizing that staying comfortable can actually prevent you from growing. We get stuck in those routines, the easy stuff, the mindless scrolling. And yeah, it feels good in the moment, but later on.
The guilt creeps in. You realize you've wasted hours and haven't really accomplished anything meaningful. It's almost like your internal compass is telling you you're off course. And the author makes this interesting point. When people look back on their lives, they rarely regret the times they pushed themselves out of their comfort zone. The regrets come from the missed opportunities, the challenges they avoided.
It makes you think about what comfort really means, right? Maybe true comfort comes from knowing you're pushing yourself, growing, and becoming a better version of yourself.
Right on. Okay, moving on. The ebook gets into working on the right things. This is huge. It's not just about being busy. It's about making sure your efforts are aligned with what truly matters to you, what gives your life meaning. The author puts it pretty bluntly. If you don't choose what you work on, the world will likely choose for you. And chances are you won't end up where you want to be.
I think we've all felt that at some point, haven't we? That nagging feeling of not quite being on the right path. And that can lead to a lot of regret.
The ebook even says work is happiness when it's something you genuinely love. Now, I know that sounds idealistic, but it makes sense. When you're passionate about what you do, even the tough parts feel worth it. The author actually brings up Van Gogh, who poured his heart and soul into his art even though he struggled financially and didn't gain recognition during his lifetime.
That's intense dedication.
Yeah, and it illustrates that finding meaning in your work is not about seeking constant joy. It's about a deeper sense of purpose that carries you through the challenges.
So it's not just about working hard, it's about working on the right things for you. That's where true fulfillment comes from.
Exactly. Now, the next idea is don't be a perfectionist. Before you jump in, this isn't about dismissing excellence. It's more about recognizing that striving for perfection can sometimes be a roadblock, especially when it stops you from taking action in the first place. The author uses Leonardo da Vinci and Steve Jobs as examples.
Okay, so even the greats weren't perfectionists all the time.
Well, they definitely valued quality and precision, but they applied those things strategically. They knew when to be meticulous and when to just get things done. And there's this quote from Shane Parrish that sums it up perfectly. If a decision is reversible, make it as soon as possible. If it is irreversible, make it as late as possible.
So it's about knowing when to go all in on perfection and when to just say good enough and move forward. Makes sense.
Yeah, and for a lot of tasks, especially the ones that can be easily changed later, done is better than perfect.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that quest for perfection can turn into procrastination.
Oh, absolutely. I've been there. It's like, I'll start that project when I have more time to do it perfectly, but then you never actually start. All right, next up, the ebook tackles don't be mediocre.
This was interesting. It's like mediocrity isn't just something that happens to you. It's a choice, a series of small choices we make every day. And sometimes it's influenced by our environment, the people around us.
You mean like if everyone around you is kind of settling, it's easy to just go with the flow?
Exactly. The ebook suggests that sometimes people might even subconsciously discourage us from striving too hard. Maybe because our ambition makes them question their own choices. It's a bit unsettling, but it's something to be aware of.
It's a good reminder to think bigger, you know?
Yeah.
Don't let yourself get dragged down by the limitations others might impose, even unintentionally. Okay, this next one is so relevant in today's world. The myth of multitasking.
Ah, yes. This is a big one. The U-book uses the example of the Mars Climate Orbiter failure. Remember that?
Remind me.
A $125 million spacecraft lost because of a simple unit conversion error. And the root cause, lack of focus.
Wow. So multitasking isn't just inefficient, it can have some pretty serious consequences.
Absolutely. The ebook gives us 3 key tips to combat this.
Mm-hmm.
Avoid switching between tasks unnecessarily, eliminate distractions, and turn off those non-essential notifications.
All about creating those pockets of deep focus where you can really concentrate on one thing at a time. Makes sense. All right, moving on. The ebook emphasizes the importance of a daily routine.
Yeah, the idea here is that without a solid routine, our efforts become scattered. We end up bouncing from one thing to another, often prioritizing the easiest tasks instead of the most important ones.
I can relate to that.
The author actually shares Leo Tolstoy's daily routine, the famous writer, as an example of how structure can fuel productivity.
Wait, Tolstoy had a strict routine.
Yeah, like early rise, dedicated writing time, time for reflection, exercise, and socializing. He had it all planned out. The ebook encourages listeners to find their own ideal wake-up time and build in time for quiet contemplation. Like Blaise Pascal said, all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone.
I guess disconnecting from the noise is crucial for productivity and clarity.
And speaking of noise, the ebook calls distractions the Trojan horse of productivity. They sneak in, seemingly harmless, and before you know it, they've sabotaged your entire day. It suggests a pretty bold strategy, deleting those apps on your phone that you know are time wasters.
Wow, that's radical. But I get it. If an app is constantly pulling you away from your goals, maybe it's time to say goodbye.
Exactly. Sometimes you got to be ruthless with those distractions.
All right, another key skill the ebook highlights is to say no. It quotes Josh Billings here. Half of the troubles of this life can be traced to saying yes too quickly and not saying no soon enough. It's all about protecting your time and energy.
So true.
Mm-hmm.
Saying yes to everything can leave you feeling completely overwhelmed and scattered. It's not about being unhelpful. It's about being strategic with your commitments. The ebook even uses a quote from Seneca to drive this point home. If you don't know what port you sail to, no wind is favorable.
It's like without clear goals, you'll end up drifting aimlessly, pushed around by other people's priorities.
Exactly. You got to know where you're going and what you want to achieve. Otherwise, it's easy to get sidetracked. Okay, next, the ebook tackles this common misconception that you need to work 24/7 to be productive.
Oh, I hate that hustle culture mentality.
Me too. The author emphasizes that productivity is about results, not just hours clocked in. Overworking can actually backfire, leading to burnout, decreased creativity, and ultimately lower output. The ebook's message is clear. Work efficiently so you have time and energy for other aspects of life, like your relationships and your well-being. It even highlights that sometimes people work excessively, not out of necessity, but to feed their ego or avoid tackling truly important but perhaps more difficult tasks.
It's a reminder to focus on being productive, not just busy, right?
Absolutely. Now, the ebook then gets into procrastination with a section titled, Don't Wait.
Oh boy, here we go.
It's like the right time rarely just magically appears. Waiting for the perfect conditions or that feeling of absolute readiness is usually just another form of procrastination. The advice is simple. Start now. Take that first step, however small, and build momentum. The ebook distinguishes between laziness and patience, using the example of the bamboo tree. It takes years for the bamboo to develop its root system underground, and then it suddenly shoots up rapidly.
So patience with results, but impatience with taking action.
Exactly. The Zen student story further illustrates this. You know the one where the student asks the master how long it takes to become enlightened? The master replies, 10 years. The student, surprised, asks, what if I try really hard? The master says, then only 5 years. The point is, while mastery takes time, you have to put in the effort consistently. The ebook uses a great quote from Musashi here. The primary thing when you take a sword in your hands is your intention to cut the enemy, whatever the means. Whenever you parry, hit, strike, or touch the enemy's cutting sword, you must cut the enemy in the same instant. It's about having that intention to act, to achieve the desired outcome, no matter what.
No more waiting for the perfect moment, just start taking action. And I love that emphasis on intention. It's not just about going through the motions, it's about having a clear purpose behind your actions. All right, the ebook then gets into the importance of your social circle. Surround yourself with the right people. It quotes Jim Rohn here, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Powerful stuff.
It really highlights how much our environment shapes our habits and our mindset. If you're surrounded by people who are constantly procrastinating or lacking ambition, it's easy to fall into those patterns yourself.
It's almost like those behaviors become contagious, right?
Yeah. And the ebook encourages you to be mindful of these influences and actively choose to spend your time with people who are supportive, driven, and who inspire you to be your best self. It even suggests that you shouldn't seek advice from people whose lives you wouldn't want to emulate.
That's a bit harsh, but true. All right, next up, the ebook tackles worry. Don't worry. It points out that worrying, especially about things outside our control, is often unproductive.
Absolutely. It differentiates between good worrying, the kind that motivates you to take action, and stupid worrying, which is just spinning your wheels about things you can't change.
Like, if you're worried about your health, that might motivate you to exercise more and eat better. But if you're constantly worrying about the weather, well, there's not much you can do about that.
Right. So the key is to focus your energy on the things you can control. And for the things you can't, learn to let them go. Worrying about things you can't change just drains your mental resources and doesn't accomplish anything.
That makes sense. And now we get to one of my favorite productivity tips. Do the hard thing first.
Oh yeah, this is a good one. The ebook uses a great analogy here. The cold water doesn't get warmer if you jump in late. It's about tackling that most challenging task right at the start of your day before you have a chance to procrastinate or your energy levels dip.
I love that. It's all about getting that big, scary thing out of the way, and then the rest of the day feels so much easier.
Right. It's like you've already conquered the hardest part, so everything else is downhill from there. The ebook even introduces this concept, easy choices. Hard life, hard choices, easy life. It's about recognizing that choosing the more challenging path in the short term can actually lead to a less stressful and more fulfilling life in the long run.
Because avoiding those hard choices just creates bigger problems down the road. Okay, and finally, the ebook emphasizes the importance of delegating. Delegate. It includes a quote from John C. Maxwell. If you want to do a few small things right, do them yourself. If you want to do great things and make a big impact, learn to delegate.
So true. Trying to do everything yourself is not only inefficient, it limits your potential to achieve bigger goals.
Delegation is all about leveraging other people's skills and expertise to free up your time and energy to focus on your strengths and what you do best. The ebook even points out that even if the delegated work isn't absolutely perfect, the time you save is often worth it.
Absolutely. Okay, so that covers the key mindset shifts from part 1 of the ebook. Now let's move on to part 2, tips and techniques, where the author provides specific strategies to put these ideas into practice.
I love this part. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of how to actually beat procrastination.
The ebook starts with a list of 20 productivity tips I wish I had known earlier. Many of these tips directly tie back to the mindset shifts we've already talked about, like planning your day, setting clear goals, using the 80-20 rule, avoiding multitasking, eliminating distractions, learning to say no, delegating effectively, and of course, do it now. It's all about taking action.
So it's like the mindset sets the foundation, and then these tips are the tools to build upon that foundation.
Exactly. It's the rubber meeting the road, as they say. The ebook then delves deeper into some specific techniques.
Let's hear them.
First up is the 80-20 rule, also known as the Pareto principle. This one's all about focusing on the activities that generate the most results. The idea is that roughly 20% of your effort tends to produce about 80% of your results.
So it's about identifying those high-impact activities and prioritizing them.
Exactly. It's about working smarter, not just harder. Figure out which 20% of your efforts are generating 80% of your success and double down on those.
Got it. Okay, what else?
Next up is Parkinson's Law. This one states that work expands to fill the time allotted for it. So the ebook suggests setting shorter deadlines to force yourself to be more efficient.
I like that. It's like if you give yourself less time, you'll find a way to get it done. No more dragging things out unnecessarily.
Precisely. And then the ebook introduces a really interesting section, 8 Japanese techniques to overcome laziness. These offer a unique cultural perspective on productivity and well-being.
Sounds fascinating. Tell me more.
The first one is ikigai, which is often translated as your reason for being. It's about finding that sweet spot where your passions and skills align with what the world needs and what you can be paid for. It's like finding your purpose, what makes you excited to get out of bed in the morning.
So it's about finding work that feels meaningful and fulfilling.
Exactly. And when your daily activities are connected to your deeper purpose, it's much easier to stay motivated and avoid that feeling of laziness. The second technique is Kaizen, which emphasizes the power of small, continuous improvement. It's about making tiny, incremental changes each day that compound over time.
The 1% better everyday approach.
Yes, it makes big goals feel less daunting because you're focusing on making small, manageable steps.
I love that. It's all about consistency and progress, not perfection. What's next?
The third technique is Shoshin, which is about approaching things with a beginner's mind. It's about staying curious, open to new ideas, and willing to learn, even in areas where you might already have some expertise.
So it's about staying humble and avoiding the trap of thinking you know it all.
Exactly. Because when you're stuck in the expert's mind, you tend to miss opportunities for growth and learning. And that can lead to stagnation and laziness.
Makes sense. All right, what else?
The fourth technique is hara hachibu, which is the practice of eating until you're only 80% full. The idea is that overeating can lead to sluggishness and a lack of motivation.
I've definitely experienced that. That post-meal slump can really derail your productivity.
Right. So by eating mindfully and stopping before you're completely stuffed, you can maintain more consistent energy levels and avoid those dips in motivation. The fifth technique is Shinrin-yoku, which means forest bathing. It's all about spending time immersed in nature to reduce stress, improve well-being, and boost focus.
I can definitely get behind that one.
Studies have shown that being in nature has numerous benefits for our physical and mental health. It's a great way to de-stress, clear your head, and recharge your batteries. The sixth technique is wabi-sabi, which is about finding beauty and acceptance in imperfection and impermanence.
So it's like embracing the flaws and the fleeting nature of things.
Yeah. Exactly. And it directly relates to the don't be a perfectionist mindset we talked about earlier. By letting go of the need for things to be perfect, you can free yourself from the pressure of achieving unattainable ideals, which often leads to procrastination and inaction.
It's about appreciating the beauty in the imperfect and the impermanent. I love that.
The seventh technique is Ganbaro, which essentially means persistence or giving your best effort even when things get tough. It's about sticking to your goals, pushing through challenges, and not giving up easily.
Grit and determination.
Exactly. And finally, the eighth technique is Gammon, which emphasizes patience and endurance through hardship. It's about facing difficulties with fortitude and grace, knowing that setbacks are inevitable but temporary.
It's like embracing the struggles as part of the journey.
Exactly. So those are the 8 Japanese techniques. And then the ebook moves on to a practical pre-sleep routine. Do this for 10 minutes before you sleep.
Okay, what is it?
It involves 2 key actions. First, review your day, noting both your accomplishments and the things that maybe weren't so productive. And second, plan your tasks for the next day, creating a short, prioritized to-do list and identifying your 3 arrows, the 3 most important things you want to accomplish.
I like that. It's about ending the day with intention and setting yourself up for success tomorrow.
Precisely. It helps you become more aware of how you're spending your time and prioritize your tasks effectively. The ebook then presents 10 tiny habits that will change your life. These include simple things like incorporating movement into your day, eating healthy foods, having a clear purpose, drinking enough water, surrounding yourself with positive influences, taking calculated risks, avoiding information overload, minimizing multitasking, eliminating distractions, and having a sense of urgency in your actions.
So it's all about making small, consistent changes that add up over time.
Exactly. It's about building a foundation of healthy habits that support your productivity and well-being. Next, the Pomodoro technique is introduced. This is a time management method that involves working in focused bursts, typically 25 minutes long, separated by short breaks.
Oh, I've heard of that. It's about working with the natural rhythms of your attention span, right?
Yes. And the ebook emphasizes that you can adjust the work and break intervals to fit your own personal preferences and needs. The key is to find a rhythm that works for you.
Got it. Okay, what else?
The 5-minute rule is another great one. It's simple but effective. If you can complete a task in 5 minutes or less, do it immediately rather than adding it to your to-do list.
I love that. It's all about knocking out those quick wins and preventing small tasks from piling up and becoming overwhelming.
Precisely. And it prevents those little things from cluttering your mind and distracting you from your bigger goals. The ebook even quotes Benjamin Franklin here. Beware of little expenses. A small leak will sink a great ship. It's a reminder that even small tasks can have a big impact if you let them accumulate.
So true. All right, what's next?
The 2-day rule focuses on building consistency with positive habits. The idea is to never break a good habit for more than 1 day in a row.
I like that. It's like giving yourself permission to have an off day, but then getting right back on track.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It helps prevent those minor slip-ups from turning into full-blown relapses. And finally, the ebook ends with a powerful call to action. Wake up. It reiterates the urgency of living intentionally according to your own values and aspirations, rather than letting external pressures or expectations dictate your choices.
It's a reminder to take control of your life and create the life you truly desire.
The ebook even includes a story about a father and son trying to please everyone they encounter on their journey with the donkey, ultimately highlighting the futility of trying to live up to everyone else's standards. The message is clear. Stop worrying about what others think and focus on what truly matters to you.
Such a powerful reminder. So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. From fundamental mindset shifts to practical techniques, we've explored a wide range of ideas for overcoming laziness and boosting productivity.
And remember, this is just a starting point. We encourage you to take what resonates with you and explore these concepts further.
Exactly. And as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final thought. The author repeatedly emphasizes the preciousness of time and the potential for regret if we don't use it wisely. So, considering that, what's one small but meaningful action you feel inspired to take today, right now, based on what we've discussed?
That's the question we want you to ponder. And remember, this deep dive was tailored to your specific interests, so we encourage you to continue exploring these ideas based on your own reflections and the areas that particularly resonated with you. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure. And remember, take action and don't let laziness win.
You've got this.